Welcome to Hochoka Podcast.
What can the former chaplain and director of St. Joseph's Indian School tell us about the Native American education that takes place here when we look back at the present and ahead to the future? Hello, Medakiepi. Welcome to Hochoka, here at the center of St. Joseph's Indian School's campus. I'm Scott Wooster, today's Hochoka host. During a previous episode this season, we caught up with Father Stephen Huffstetter, SCJ. He joins us again today to take a 360-degree look at St. Joe's as someone who spent time here, is here now, and I am sure is interested in what our future holds. Father Steve, it is the understatement is it's great to have you back. It really is good to see you again.
It is so great to be back.
Awesome. So you and I started our journey. We talked off air 20 years ago when you came here in 2004. But there was a lot of time that you spent before then doing reservation parish work in South Dakota. What influence did that early work that you had? You came from Hales Corner, I presume, to come out here, and there are probably twists and turns. Yeah. And you can talk about that, but your work with Native Americans across South Dakota, how did that influence your role here?
Okay. Well, I came directly from Lower Brule here to St. Joe's.
Okay.
I finished my my Christmas masses, and on the 26th of December, 2004, I moved over here.
Okay.
Right in.
Yeah.
And I was in Lower Brule and Crow Creek for 3 years, but before that, I spent almost 10 years on the Cheyenne River Reservation up in Eagle Butte and Whitehorse and Red Scaffold, those communities. Mm-hmm. I think working on the reservation really gave me a much better sense of the kind of situations that the kids were coming from when they came to school, the kind of things they had to deal with. I think it helped make me much more aware of some of the important cultural things between the ceremonies and the events and the way things were at wakes and funerals and feeds and powwows, and all those things become such a normal part of a student's life. And knowing that helped me to be able to relate to them a lot better and to their families. So that was a great thing. And sometimes I think that there's some attitude of like, well, it's important for us to get the students off the reservation. And I didn't have that same perspective. My perspective was our education here at St. Joe's should give the students a choice, because I saw a lot of people on the reservations working hard to make life better for their people, for their tribe. And if students wanted to go to Sioux Falls or Rapid City and try something different, great, give them the education that allows them to do that. But the reservations need, good trained workers, teachers, everything. And if our students can go back and make a difference for the tribe and help their people, that's what we want to do also.
Absolutely. I as you're talking, I'm thinking about how remote those areas are up there on Cheyenne River. You're talking about Red Scaffold and places like that are literally in the middle of nowhere. The resources are scant up in those parts, and what a gift it is to have that time up there to inform what you were going to do here. And I'm a little envious. I showed up at St. Joe's at 25 years old, not knowing a thing about the culture, and to have your feet on the ground up there to do that before you came here and took over as the director must have brought so much experience and so much understanding of the culture and the people to what you did. Yeah,
and getting to know people, about the history, and part of that is coming to grips with the history of boarding schools. I heard some people that had really traumatic experiences of being away at some of the mission schools. I heard people that had very good experiences also. It wasn't all negative.
Right.
Many learned some useful trades, made some lifelong friendships. But I realized that was a real mixed legacy. And then so that informed my work here too.
Absolutely, and made you probably conscientious of the kids and of the families that we work with. if we were to pull up, around our campfire here at Ho-Chokeh in the center of our camp circle here, and you had stories about your 20 years, well, it wasn't 20 years, but your years here at the school, 9 years here at the school. Any stories that jump out to you that you'd like to tell around the campfire here?
I have so many different kinds of memories, especially there's memories of the students, there's memories of our staff, and there's memories of our donors and visitors. One of my favorite things to do was to visit the homes after school or go for supper. 2 or 3 nights a week, I'd make sure I'd call up the home and say, "Hey, can I come for supper?" You know, and I'd sit around and with the little kids. It was like after supper, I'd maybe sit and have them read to me and practice their stories and things like that.
Yep.
Or with the older kids, I might play games, board games and stuff. One of the times I was in the Perky house and we were playing Monopoly with the kids.
Yeah.
All right. And one of the guys, he had hotels on Boardwalk and Park Place, and he was just raking all kinds of money. But when somebody's about to go bankrupt, he'd pull off one of those $500 orange bills. Here's some money for the poor hobo.
Yeah.
He wanted to keep people playing. It wasn't important for him to win at all costs.
Right.
It was very different. Very uncapitalistic kind of a thing.
Had to keep the game going.
But very traditional in a lot of ways, too, that you take care of the pitiful ones.
Yeah. Funny but profound at the same time. I love it. Yeah. Okay.
And, like with our staff, people, when I come back, people say, "Oh, Father Steve, we're so happy. You did so many great things when you were here." But I changed the word from you to we.
Yeah.
When I look back at what we did together, we built 2 new high school homes. We renovated all the homes. We built the historical center and museum expansion. We bought the grocery store downtown and made a thrift shop. And be able to outreach more for people that needed clothes and fire victims and things like that. We just transformed so many things. We started the Parents Advisory Council to get them on board. We started our Distinguished Alumni Award and got more alumni coming back and doing things and witnessing to the kids and stuff. And I can't take credit for any of that because it was always other people's ideas. And it was up to us to try to work together, say, okay, that's a great idea. How can we do it?
Right.
One of my favorite ideas that came from staff was our cultural trip. And so we take the 7th or 8th graders. I think it's 7th grade now. 7th
grade, yeah.
And take them to expose them to some of the really important cultural sites in Lakota Way. And I went on a couple of those, but I was on the first one that we ever went to. And seeing students climb Bear Butte for the first time and just be sort of in awe and thinking about being united with their ancestors that have done that before them, or going to Wounded Knee and realizing the tragedy that happened there, or just seeing some of the great things that go on in western South Dakota and into Wyoming and Montana. We had just a lot of fun too.
Absolutely,
hikes and laughs, and so often when students graduate and they look back at their memories, they say, "Oh, one of my best times was these cultural trips."
Yeah, for sure. And it's such a legacy, and it goes on to this day, and I hope that never goes away, that living classroom piece of it. And as you know, my wife is a part of that. She's gone on every trip with the girls since the thing started. Talked to her last night, and at some point she's going to retire, but she says that's something that she might do, as long as she possibly can to take that. And it could be exhausting to take 12 7th grade girls on a trip and stay in different places and to do that. But whatever it is about that trip uplifts her, and it uplifts those kids. And you're right. Almost to a kid at their graduation, they will say that that's one of the most important things or one of the most important, certainly, but also the funnest thing they did, because they'll come back with the stories, about the things that only the kids will remember, the inside jokes that you come up with by going through something like that. So that's a huge deal.
Yeah. I have a lot of really good memories about the donor luncheon trips that we took students on as well. And again, that was somebody else's idea. They said it'd be really good if we could take our students there because, people are really interested in what they have to say. And oftentimes we would take students, it was the very first airplane flight that they were on.
Yep.
Or I remember one girl, we got to the airport in Minneapolis and she was a little bit afraid to get on the escalator because she'd never been on an escalator. And what it makes me think of is we're trying to prepare students for the next steps in life to adjust to new situations and stuff. And if they're a little bit afraid to do those kind of things, it just reinforces our need to expose them to some things like that. And the people really responded well to hearing what the students had to say. And they would get some confidence. We usually did like 2 or sometimes 3. By the time they got the third one, they had a much more comfort, more relaxed. Could really represent themselves well. And that was really rewarding.
Yeah, and to be able to bring, the donors are the backbone of the place, right? I mean, they keep us moving every day, and for them to be able to have the kids come to their place and to be able to see the kids, they also see the value, as you talked about, the value of them being exposed to different things. I think the donors are acutely aware that our kids need to be exposed to whatever they can to be able to manage this world the way it is. Does that make sense?
Yeah, and there was just some neat experiences with the donors too. We were in New York, and one of the donors worked at the Metropolitan Museum and took us a special tour and showed the students some of the really old Native American artifacts that they had. A special point to do that. We were in Rhode Island, and some of the tribal people came and took us for a ceremony by the ocean.
Really? Yeah.
Prayer. And just constantly people reaching out in many different ways like that. One of my favorite stories with the donor, I got a call from a museum and said, "Father, there's a woman who's been a donor for a long time and she'd like to meet you." And so I went to the museum and met her, and she had been donating for like over 50 years, and she recently retired from teaching. And she said, "Oh yeah, I sent my first donation in when you built the chapel, which was 1956.
Okay.
All right?
Yeah.
So I took her over. We took a tour of the chapel. I said, "This is what you helped make possible."
Yeah.
And then because she was a third grade teacher, let's go to the school. So we went over to the school and we went into a third grade classroom, and she met some of the students and interacted with them in a great way and stuff. And she cared about education. She cared about children, and it just really made her day to see that. It made my day to meet people, and I met many people like that. It's incredible.
So we have our Wachipiara, our powwow, every fall, which for me is just a banner event. For the school, it's a banner event. And it speaks to exactly what you say, which is you bring the donors together with the children, with their families, and they get to see firsthand just exactly the good work that we're doing here, that the kids are great people, that their families are good people, and it gets to show them in real time what their contributions are doing for what we do here. Does that make sense?
Oh, it's delightful when they can come and see what we really do up close. Take tours of the homes, of the schools, and see the dancing.
Absolutely. Yeah. And the culture piece of it. Yeah, for sure. It's been a decade almost since you were here, and it seems like it was yesterday. Truly, when you walked in the other day, I thought, how did 10 years slip by that way? How do you feel about the way you find the school today? I mean, we talked about all these things that we collectively have improved during the time you were here. I got a chance to talk with Father Cassidy about some of the things at the end of the 70s that we were able to accomplish at the school too. It's pretty amazing. 10 years since you've been here, take stock of the whole thing. How would you sell that to people? I'm
continuing to be impressed by the creativity that's done. the equine therapy.
Mm-hmm.
I've talked to some of the counselors about what a difference that makes working with the children. It makes them comfortable to be able to share things that they might not otherwise share.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's something brand new. It's big and noticeable, but there's lots of little things too. Another project that's new is the rec center.
Mm-hmm.
Give a chance for our students to have more opportunities, for exercise and health and wellness. We've got the health center was new since I was here.
Yep.
So you see lots of things. We see new people doing new things too.
Yeah.
And the great thing about coming back is getting to connect with the people that I really work closely with.
Yep.
You and Lorraine and other people.
Yep.
But there's new people that bring new energy, new creativity, new ideas, and keep moving it forward. It's not a static place.
No.
There's definitely movement and energy and enthusiasm. And so I really feel happy and satisfied with what I see, that spirit continues, the spirit of innovation and excellence.
Yeah. Sometimes you mentioned that the infusion of new blood into the place, and we're such an eclectic place. For the center of South Dakota, you're in this small town, and yet we get to bounce off of all sorts of different people from different backgrounds, and it really is a special place in that way. But it brings in fresh energy, it brings in enthusiasm, and those kinds of things. So I think you hit that spot on. What do you think? We're talking about the present of St. Joe's. What do you see for the future here? What do you expect? What do you hope for? What's your deepest hope for this place?
Mm-hmm. A big change here was when we started really taking people through the high school program and looking ahead, trying to prepare them for whatever's next with college or service or job or voc tech kind of training and things like that. And so I hope that continues and we keep producing people who graduate and are productive and self-fulfilled and everything. In the future, what Indian country needs is good leaders and good workers and people that can make a difference for their tribe and their people. And so I hope that we have more people that can go back and make a difference on the reservations. I hope that we get more alumni who will come back and work here because I know the culture from living there for a few years, but they grew up in it.
Yeah.
They make a huge difference when we have staff who are Native American.
Absolutely.
And I'd like to see a lot more of that. And I would continue to hope that St. Joe's innovates. One of the people said, if it isn't broke, maybe we still need to break it and start all over, and not just be satisfied with what is, but how can we do better?
So St. Joe's is a close-knit place, and I'll say it over and over. People care about you, care about each other when things go wrong, too. And you had a health scare, 15 or so years ago. People want to know, how are you doing?
Yeah, I had a kind of a rare and complicated form of cancer. Thank God that treatment went well and I'm doing okay. When I was sick, and I had about maybe like 6 months when I really couldn't do much, I was away at the Mayo Clinic for treatment, and the treatments would knock me out, and I had long recuperation. But I found that the support I got from the kids was unbelievable. One day I was feeling kind of blue, and Brother Clay came to visit me in Minnesota, and he brought me a whole box of cards and drawings and stuff that the kids had done, and get well cards, and it just showed that they are very compassionate and caring too, and they've been through a lot of trauma and tragedy in their lives, but it doesn't prevent them from reaching out to others, and in a way that's very healing.
Yeah, they had your back,
Exactly.
and they know that you have their back too. So yeah, that reciprocation is pretty powerful once you get a hold of that here. It's a pretty neat thing about St. Joe's.
It's beautiful.
And you're doing well now.
Yes, I'm doing fine now.
You look great. You have a love for this school, and that came out when you were here for 9 years. It comes out in visiting with you today, and we share that together. You know that I love this place with all my heart. I've been here for 31 years, and I know that you do too. You know it. When you spend a little bit of time here, most of the people that work here do feel that way. So we do have that hope that this continues to benefit our kids and to benefit their families, because the school belongs to those kids, and I know that you feel that same way. So I just want to say to you, thank you for loving this school. Thank you for serving this school in the way that you did for so many years. It's a testament to you that people here remember you fondly. They speak of you fondly, and you can return, and all of those relationships are immediately rekindled. Whatever you can give to this school in the future, we gladly welcome, and you're always welcome here to be a part of this. And we love having you at Hochoka here too, at the center of our campus. So thanks for being a part of that today.
Oh, my pleasure. It's delightful to be back and have this conversation and rekindle more memories.
Awesome. Sounds good. And to our audience, we thank you for joining us here at the center of St. Joseph's Indian School campus at Hochoka, where we talk about issues that are central to Native American education today. And until next time, Father, stay centered.